The world ended not with fire or war, but with an announcement. One morning, as the sun rose golden over cities and fields, every screen, every radio, every whisper of technology spoke the same words: you have 24 hours left. No explanation, no demand, just a statement that settled deep into the bones of humanity. Scientists scrambled to find the source of the message. Leaders gave speeches of calm. Priests cried out about judgment. And yet no one could explain who or what had spoken. All that mattered was the ticking clock. At first, disbelief reigned. People laughed, shook their heads, and carried on as if the message was a prank. But when the seconds began counting down on every phone and every billboard in unison, fear crept in. Suddenly, time became the most valuable thing in existence. Streets filled with chaos. Some ran to stores to grab food and wine, though eating no longer mattered. Others flocked to churches, mosques, and temples, desperate for forgiveness. Lovers confessed hidden desires. Enemies embraced. Parents clung to their children as if holding them could stop the hours from slipping away. Among the chaos was Elias, a history teacher in his 30s, who found himself oddly calm. He didn't rush, didn't scream, didn't drink himself into oblivion like many around him. Instead, he wandered the streets and watched couples kissing in the middle of intersections, musicians playing their instruments with wild abandon, children drawing on walls without fear of punishment. It was as if the world had finally been unshackled from rules. Elias wondered if this was what freedom truly looked like when the weight of tomorrow was gone. But as the day faded into evening, Elias noticed something strange. The countdown ticked mercilessly on everyone's screens, yet a few people he passed by didn't seem to see it. They walked calmly, smiling faintly, as if untouched by the shadow of impending doom. He tried to ask one of them, a woman with sharp eyes and no phone in her hand, but she simply told him, "Not everyone is counting the same hours as you." Then she disappeared into the crowd. Curiosity gnawed at him. He searched through the city, past riots, past bonfires of celebration, past silent families gathered for their final meals, until he found a small group gathered in a dimly lit bookstore. Inside, the clocks were gone. No glowing numbers haunted the walls. The people there looked serene. When Elias asked what was happening, they explained that the countdown wasn't universal, it was personal. Some of us are bound by it, some of us are not. The message wasn't for the world, it was for you. Elias felt his chest tighten. He pulled out his phone and stared at the digits. 6 hours left. 6 hours until nothingness, or something worse. But then one of the strangers leaned forward and whispered, "Have you asked yourself who benefits from your fear?" The words chilled him. What if the countdown wasn't death at all? What if it was a test, or a manipulation, or a doorway to something beyond comprehension? As midnight neared, the city grew eerily quiet. People waited with bated breath, holding hands, praying, screaming, or laughing. The last minutes pulsed in the air like a heartbeat. Elias stood alone in the center of the street, staring up at the sky. The final second struck. He expected darkness, an explosion, the collapse of everything. Instead, the world continued. The stars still shimmered, the air was still warm, but everyone who had believed the countdown was gone. Cars sat abandoned, glasses of wine spilled into empty streets, instruments lay where they had been dropped. Elias staggered through the silence, realizing that only a fraction of humanity remained, the ones who had not been bound to the clock. The world was not destroyed, it had simply been emptied. And in that moment, Elias finally understood. The voice had not been a warning of death, it had been a choice. Those who accepted the countdown had vanished into some unknown place, while those who questioned it remained. But was survival truly a gift or a trap? Elias stood in the ruins of a half-empty city, surrounded by the echo of vanished billions, and felt the heavy weight of a new question pressing down on him. What if he had chosen wrong?